Counselling Microskills, Synthesis 4, with Sandra Collins and Gina Co.
Gina, welcome. Last time we met, we started to move a little bit into talking about time and time commitments. And I'm wondering if that's a place where you would like to start today.
What microskill was that? Providing transparency.
Very much so. Yes. After we met last time, it made me think about actually quite a bit about my values. So I'll share something with you. I don't think I shared last time. So I'm starting a podcast. It's called Against the Tides of Racism. I actually started about 3 weeks ago, and I have interviewed 7 guests. I've secured many, many more. I've been editing videos by myself. I've got some help doing my website. My cousin's helping me. I do have a tech person who's trying to help me with sound. Anyway, I realize that this is, I don't know, I'll use the word calling. It's just something that is so close to my heart. And I wake up excited every day to dive in. And I also know that there's limited time. I'm a full faculty member at another university. I teach as a sessional instructor for Athabasca. I have a private practice, I have children, and the list goes on and on. But I think I know this is something that needs to be done, and I am the person to do it. I'm the host of the podcast, and I'm meeting amazing people that I would not have met. And one of the ministers that works closely with Justin Trudeau said yes to me. So I just wanted to say that it's really, really cool.
Wow.
So
It's interesting to listen to you talk because I can hear how passionate you are about this.
What microskill was that? Reflecting meaning.
And one of the things that I noticed as you were talking is how you were able to just grab onto a need and create something new and run with it. And then look at how it's blossomed into something quite amazing.
What microskill was that? Offering affirmations.
well, a part of the aim of the podcast, and I might not be exactly remembering the words. So it's fostering community, creating awareness, and transformation, right? So some of my guests are lawyers, some of them are psychologists, social workers, and the minister. And from even young people, I have a youth ambassador who is only 16, championing the Asian Gold Ribbon campaign. Dr. Gina Wong is one of my guests. So anyhow, there is a lot of passion there for sure. There's also now I have to think about planning my days, my weeks. So the weekend is my podcast time, but it's also time with my family. So that's where sometimes there's some really, I need to be thoughtful with my scheduling.
Yeah, so even though this is something that's new and exciting, there's a tension because there's not a lot of space in your life to fit in something even when it is new and exciting.
What microskill was that? Reflecting meaning.
Right. So to give some information, a podcast episode takes about 2.5 to 3 hours. Because really, before I record, sometimes I haven't really met them really at all, and then saying hello and explaining it, and then recording it, and then it could be an hour to an hour and a half doing that, and then after editing and cutting. So really, it's one podcast episode could be about 2 to 3 hours of my Saturday or Sunday, right? And that's 2 to 3 hours I'm not spending with my children. So one thing that I think I'm pretty good at is only one per day. I don't think I've tried to squeeze in 2. So I think that in that way I'm doing it well. But it also means that I'm not seeing as many clients on the weekend. So that means I'm kind of saying no to certain new clients too. So
In our previous conversation, you were talking about how you wanted to slow down a little and kind of create some breathing space for yourself, especially now that you're in a new job and realizing that You need to step back a little in order to figure out who you want to be in this professional world. And yet I hear you describing this new project that's now grabbing onto you and taking you into really exciting places, and yet demanding a considerable amount of time. So I'm wondering about that inconsistency and how you're making sense out of those two pieces of yourself.
What microskill was that? Exploring inconsistencies.
And it's interesting that you're noticing the inconsistency because it also has to do with my values too. So my value of family time, being a good mom and a good spouse, and a good auntie, and then this other side where it's pulling me to this social justice, anti-racism project. So that's why I'm here to talk to you about this, Sandra. It's hard.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, because clearly both pieces are parts of yourself that you highly value and that bring you a lot of sense of meaning. And yet there's this push pull between the two.
What microskill was that? Summarizing.
Yes. And so going back to scheduling and planning, you so again, you know me quite well, Sandra. I work early mornings, right? 5 o'clock in the morning. I jump on my computer and I do get a lot of work done. So with my faculty position and my supervisory role at City University Calgary campus, um, at this point, I think I'm doing a pretty good job. I'm appreciated. Students appreciate me and my colleagues as well. So it's less of that and it's more, yeah, again, the family and then this project I have on the side, which is something that I can't stop doing. And it's just the beginning of it. And I do have to invest time. But as I'm talking as well, Sandra, I feel like the big parts of it is kind of is learning the technology, and which is I'm not an expert at, but I'm feeling a bit better. So I think the big part of the starting up is it's going well now, right? So maybe it's more reminding myself, Gina, you know yourself, one guest per day on a Saturday, one guest on a Sunday, and don't overload it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It sounds like it might also be important to remind yourself of how good you are at juggling these multiple things. It's certainly something that I have seen in you. And, like you said, you're able to be disciplined about when you get up and you accomplish a lot in a short period of time.
What microskill was that? Offering affirmations.
So I'm wondering if that reminder to yourself of your strength in negotiating all of those pieces and somehow managing them um, helps to take some of the sense of worry away about this.
What microskill was that? Questioning.
Yeah. No, that's a good point, Sandra. That's a good point. I do that kind of in passing, but maybe I need something more a tangible reminder or something that I don't know. Yeah, I think that would be helpful, especially moments when I start to feel overwhelmed. Am I going to meet certain deadlines? Which I always do, but it's just those moments, right? But it's close.
What kind of tangible reminder might be useful to you in terms of just positioning this dilemma in a bit different way?
What microskill was that? Questioning.
Right away, I'm thinking about, so on my website, there's a logo that my daughter Maya made. She drew it on her iPad, so it's got the tide and against and the two mics against the tides of racism. I really, she did a really good job, and maybe it's something that I can even print out and put in front of me to remind myself the purpose of doing starting a huge project like that. And Maya drew it, right? She did it herself. So it's also reminded me of both, family and then also the project. I
Mhm.
really like that actually.
So it provides you with that sort of visual cue that both of these things are important to you and both of them are valuable, and you are investing in both of them. I mean, even by involving Maya in this project is bringing family and work together in the places where you're really passionate.
What microskill was that? Reflecting meaning.
Yes, yes. And my children are amazing. So Cohen, my young boy, is my tech support person. Maya's my artistic person, and my cousin, my website designer. Yeah, I think that would work, Sandra.
Mm,
I'm glad we talked about that today.
mm. And it's a great opportunity for you to model for them some of the things that you're passionate about, and to capitalize or build their skill set in a way that will support them as they carry on in life.
What microskill was that? Reflecting meaning.
Well, yeah, we talk developmentally appropriate, of course, a lot of these issues, right? Challenges right now. And they have a lot to say. And
Mhm,
they said, "Mommy, we just need to be more need more kindness. We need less racism and less hate." And they're outspoken about those things with me. And I love sitting down with my children to talk about these. Of course, also there's also fun topics we talk about, but yeah, yeah, for sure.
it's it is in many ways more integrated than in the conversation at the beginning. It seemed like these were a little bit more separate, and when you talk about them now, it seems like there is a wholeness here to what you're involved in, the choices that you're making.
Co-creating language. Summarizing.
Mm-hmm. 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 Actually, one more thing, Sandra, if it's okay, or sorry,
Yeah, go ahead.
you just made me think of one of the beginnings of this journey is I was invited by ACT to End Racism, the coalition, to do a presentation about how to talk to youth about racism. So that's how I got started.
Mhm,
So what you just said made me it solidified for me. It actually is integrated and not separate at all.
mhm.
Yeah.
Makes perfect sense.